for daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back from the NBA All-Star break, and welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host of DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our Fantasy Draft NBA picks for Thursday, February 20th. We're getting this video out about 25 hours or 27 hours before lock, because we got some extra time, and I haven't had a chance to get my Window Liquor Awards show out. Just haven't had the time. My son got sick, had an ingrown toenail, I had to take him to the doctor for, just a whole bunch of crap. As life is. So thank you for all of that. First things first, thank you for all your support. I truly do appreciate all your comments, kind words, making me a part of your day. I truly do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Get access to all of our NBA content for all the sites, XFL, etc. Baseball season around the corner. Lots of stuff. So lots and lots of stuff. Hit subscribe if you are so inclined to do so. Also, Fantasy Draft. You all may be wondering if you're new to the channel, new to DFS, or maybe just new to the site. What is Fantasy Draft? Fantasy Draft is rake-free DFS. What that means is that all of your entry fees go directly back into the prize pool. Higher chances of winning. You win more when you do compared to your entry fee, etc. So you don't have to finish in the top 5-8% to double your money. You can finish in the top 25% to double your money in tournaments. It's a lot of fun. Be sure to check out Fantasy Draft at FantasyDraft.com. Enter promo code DFS Bachelor. Create a Fantasy Draft username if you have not yet do so. And if you comment in the comment section in these videos with your Fantasy Draft username, you could win one of the 2 free entries into the $25 NBA pick and roll on Saturday. We will be announcing those winners on Friday. So you got a limited time here, a few videos before then. So keep commenting with your Fantasy Draft usernames. Enter promo code DFS Bachelor. Don't be sure to check all of that out. Also keep in mind that Fantasy Draft is double the salary cap of DraftKings. So a player at 14.4, like De'Aaron Fox is, for example, would be the equivalent of $7,200 on DraftKings. It's important to point that out. Their system's a little bit different. You pick 3 guards, 3 forwards/centers, and 2 utilities. So we'll go over all of that. So I always like to pick a quick 5, our core 5 here for Fantasy Draft. Now keep in mind we are, like I said, 27, 28 hours, 26 hours away from lock when I'm recording this. So keep an eye on the injury situation. Shouldn't see any rest. It'd be very bizarre if we did. Buyouts, etc. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. As these things happen, they will be posted up there. So let's start right here at the top at guard. First, I got De'Aaron Fox. He's 14.4 on Fantasy Draft. In terms of Fantasy Draft scoring, Memphis is 13th against opposing guards. His last time out against Memphis, he put up a 60. De'Aaron Fox did. Memphis is 20th overall against opposing point guards. It's a paced-up game. They're one of the fastest teams in the league. He's going for 7.4 on DraftKings, so you're getting him at a little bit of a discounted rate. I like De'Aaron Fox in a paced-up game at home against Memphis tomorrow night. Next, in another paced-up game against a team that struggles against guards in terms of Fantasy Draft scoring, they allow the most Fantasy Draft points to opposing guards. Paced up, etc. His last time out against Atlanta, he put up a 60. In terms of them against shooting guards, they're allowing the 3rd most fantasy points in the league to opposing shooting guards. I like Jimmy Butler an awful lot. He's 14.5 on Fantasy Draft. So that's the equivalent of what, 72 and change, 72.50 on DraftKings. He's actually 7,900 tomorrow on DraftKings. So I really like the price for Jimmy Butler. Love the matchup, love the upside. Of course, all of these players are rested. You could sign me up for some Jimmy Butler. Next, in the game against Houston, and you got to hope they keep it close, but the offense for Golden State is going to be Andrew Wiggins. In terms of Fantasy Draft scoring against forward/centers, Houston is allowing the 2nd most fantasy points in the league. When it comes to just small forwards, Houston's allowing the most fantasy points in the league to opposing small forwards. Put up a 41 his last time out against Houston. You're getting him for $13,900. That's under $7K on DraftKings. He's actually $7,600 on DraftKings, so it's a really nice price for Andrew Wiggins. Love the matchup. You could sign me up for that. Hopefully at home after a little rest from the All-Star break. he can have a big game and they can keep it close. Right behind that, a guy who I think is way too cheap. We're getting him for $17,000 on FantasyDraft, the equivalent of $8,500 on DraftKings. We've been saying this for 3 seasons on every NBA show we ever make. Centers versus Brooklyn, centers versus Brooklyn, centers versus Brooklyn. When it comes to Brooklyn on FantasyDraft scoring against forward/centers, they allow the most fantasy points in the league to opposing teams. Against centers by themselves, they allow the second most fantasy points in the league to opposing centers. Great matchup for Joel Embiid. He's going for $9K on DraftKings tomorrow. We're getting him for $17K, the equivalent of $8,500 on FantasyDraft. Love the matchup for Joel Embiid. So we've paid up at quite a few positions. We need a value guy, and I think the guy who's the most underpriced on FantasyDraft for tomorrow is PJ Washington. He is $8,800 on FantasyDraft. You're getting him the equivalent of $4,400. He's back to playing 30-plus minutes. In terms of FantasyDraft scoring, Chicago is 18th against forward/centers. But against power forwards, they're allowing the second most fantasy points in the league. Love the upside for PJ Washington. His last time out against Chicago, all he did was put up a 37. In fact, in his 3 games against Chicago this year, a 39, a 17, he was coming back from injury, and a 37. I like PJ Washington an awful lot. So if you go with that core 5 of De'Aaron Fox, Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid, PJ Washington, you still have $10,466 per player to fill out your roster. Plenty of salary. Again, keep your head on a swivel. Watch the buyout market. Watch for illnesses. It's one of those things running around the league this year. But all in all, besides Terry Rozier and, of course, Reggie Jackson's buyout, Reggie Jackson, Clint Capella, Terry Rozier are the main players who are going to be out tomorrow. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor for that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Be part of our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. If you do not have a FantasyDraft username, go to FantasyDraft.com, enter promo code DFS Bachelor, create a user account. It's absolutely free to create an account. Check it out. You could be one of the winners of our drawing. Just comment down below with your FantasyDraft username. Again, thank you all so much. It's good to see you all back after the All-Star break. I appreciate you all. May the fantasy gods be with you. And we'll see you tomorrow. Early on Thursday, I'll have our XFL Week 3 video out as well. Thank you all again so much. Goodbye, folks.